Hello and welcome to the European Business Summit here at Tour & Taxi in Brussels. This first EBS News Bulletin is designed to bring you a summary of the first day's proceedings and show you some highlights from the various workshops and plenary sessions.
We have 13 European commissioners. We have an head of state, we have the president of Turkey, and we are very proud to say that the last time the president of Turkey came in Belgium, it was 30 years ago, so it's huge. And then we have big name like Bhagwati, this famous professor. I remember this book, In Defense of Globalization. It was more than 5 years ago, but the question is more important today. In defense of globalization, what can we do to have a sustainable way to finance the economy? In fact, I was a little bit impressed by the number of registration. Today we have 2,300 participants, very high level, plus 400 people who will just come for the last debate.
There were 3 workshops to kick off proceedings which ran simultaneously. In the financing area, one was called Protectionism and Increasing Concern. A distinguished panel discussed the topic, including WTO Director General Pascal Lamy.
What should we do? First, and I'll be bringing this message to the G20, first, keep pushing back on these protectionist passions. Explain, and that's part of what you have to do. I'm paid to do it, but I cannot do it alone. Explain that while the desire for protection is understandable in terms of economic and social hardship, protectionism is the wrong way to protect.
Another panellist, European Trade Commissioner Baroness Ashton, is very much in favour of events like the EBS.
Extremely useful, not least because you find the opportunity with the audience to have a discussion about the issues that you think are very important. But actually with the business audience, you also find out what matters to business. And that's really essential if we're going to make sure, not just on the big picture stuff like the Doha round, but more generally in the kind of detail work we're doing, that we're actually working to support our businesses too.
GE President and CEO Ferdinando Bacali-Falco said one way to beat protectionism is product innovation.
There is a form of protectionism which is, for instance, protecting the automotive industry. Now, we understand the consequences of letting the automotive industry go, which are not good for the economy, but on the other side, as Monsieur Lamy said, I think the best way will be to create products that are selling into the market and to make sure that we trade ourselves out of protectionism.
Is the economic recession having much impact? IKEA CEO Anders Dalvik doesn't think so.
I think up until now I haven't seen a pattern that things are changing because of the economic financial situation we're in right now. It's a mixed picture. I think what we hear is a lot of more people voicing the concern about protectionism and understanding the impact it has, or the negative impact it has. But actions, at least up until now, I can't say I see anything that is changing concerning our company in any direction, neither negative nor positive.
Commissioner Ashton believes we need to better communicate the importance of trade to society as a whole, and that everyone, institutions, government and business, is involved in combating protectionism.
Well, I think you have to explain, if you like, the narrative, the story. Why does trade matter? Well, it matters because it's through trade that we will move into economic growth and development again. And that if you close you put up barriers and you close your markets to trade, all that happens is everybody else does the same and we slump further down. And I think one of the big challenges for all of us, but it includes politicians, is to get that message across and explain to people that by keeping trade flowing we're going to protect them. Whereas if we put up the barriers, we protect nobody. We're all responsible. The truth is that governments listen to their constituents, and part of their constituency is business. If business says we want this, that makes a huge difference. When I go around and talk to politicians, sometimes they'll say, but Kathy, nobody's asking for this. And actually, the more that people say, it's very important to us that we keep trade flowing, the more politicians will listen.
Professor Bhagwali from Columbia University also believes the importance of trade needs to be communicated to the man and woman in the street in terms they can understand.
On trade, we have to convince the people, not just elites like us, because We are already convinced that trade is good, but we have to convince the people. And that means you've got to go across and say, why is trade important? What has it done? So you have to say, look, that particular job went up in that particular town, and pick out examples like that, and so on. And you know, illustrate and go to people and say, look, this is how it has happened. And then in that context, you really make a case. Because why should people defend at a time of anxiety and you know, when everybody fears it for their job?